Two-time Hall of Fame inductees, Brent Godarzi and Marty Young. Back-to-back #1 trucking firm in the nation. Back-to-back best attorney and best law firm in East Texas.
Hello, Buckeye Nation. Jeff Rash here with the head coach and athletic director of the Gilmer Buckeyes, Alan Metzel. Welcome to the Gilmer Coaches Show. Congratulations on another win, Alan, against a very capable Van Vandals team.
Absolutely. You know, you're talking about a state-ranked team. They lived up to their reputation, very well coached, tough-nosed, and it was a tough ball game, and I'm grateful that we got the W.
They're ranked, I think, number 13. Which I thought was an insult to that team. Mm-hmm. I think they're way better than 13.
I would agree. They're going to be a team that will make waves in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. I thought they were great. Well, let's talk about all the things you were up against, and we'll talk about what you liked and what you didn't like, and then we'll look at some film, and then we'll talk about next week, which is going to be probably the biggest challenge of district play. Yes. Probably the district championship on the line this coming Friday night. Mm-hmm. So, first of all, challenge number 1. Jamboree's in town. Mm-hmm. Everybody's thinking about corn dogs and funnel cakes. How do you, as a coach, overcome that and get the boys to focus and practice and not be thinking about all the other activities they're involved in?
Sure. Well, you know, we talk about how guys enjoy the Jamboree. We're going to embrace this, but we have to do our work when we're here. We have to be able to compartmentalize and go, okay, this is when we're here and we're locked in here. When we're over there, we can go do the things that we need to do over there.
Yeah, our coaches used to be so mad about the Amber when I played. They
well,
were like, stay off of that square.
Yeah, and they'd fuss and yell, and we're going to come up, and if you're not done by 9 o'clock, and all that kind of stuff. And honestly, I kind of grew up that way. Jeff is kind of the one that helped me get past that, and of course, he's a Gilmer guy and loves eating the corn dogs up there more than anybody. And he just said, you might as well just get over it, quit fussing about it, because they're going to go do all that stuff. So let's make it where we work hard here, and then they go do all that stuff. Yeah. And so we've done that, and it's worked well. And I thought the guys came prepared. They had a great week of practice, and they played well Friday.
Well, and they can eat that junk, and it doesn't affect them at all.
Me, I'd be out
there dying. That's right. So also, while we're talking about the Jamboree, unrelated to football, you spoke at our All-Service Club luncheon on Thursday, and thank you for that. Mm-hmm. And then also, you spoke at the Billy Matchin Memorial. Mm-hmm. And for those of you that don't know, that may watch this show that hasn't been able to catch some of this going around, I'm sure you've seen most of it in town. But the very first Navy SEAL ever killed in action was a former Gilmer Buckeye, Billy Matchin. There's a book about him. And Steve Dean and his family kind of dedicated a park out on Matchin Lane.
Amazing job.
I wish I could have been there. I had to leave and go back to Fort Worth and then rush back for the game Friday. But you spoke at that deal. But what are your thoughts about that? I mean, a former Gilmer Buckeye and the saying "No man left behind."
Yes,
talk about that.
All started there. Well, you're talking about a guy who I brought this up at the dedication. There was, when you read his Silver Star citation, he's with his men and they're in Vietnam and they're moving through, and he sees an ambush, and it said, knowing what was ahead and the men were behind, he then started firing at them to draw fire to himself, and his men all escaped unharmed. I think when he saw the difficulty, he made a choice. He was selfless. We're always teaching our guys about being selfless, and how that's the key to being a real team. Yeah. But then that's the component to life, to a marriage, to a job, to community, to whatever, is to be able to love your neighbor as yourself, and he did that in the moment. And so the point that I was sharing the other day was, you don't just happen upon that. The SEALs have a saying, they have a quote that says that you don't rise to the occasion, you sink to the level of your training. And so it's not like all of a sudden he became selfless. Yeah. That's something that had been instilled in Billy Matchin his whole life, whether it was on his farm with his parents or here
Playing
at
on
the
this,
school
in this very
playing
stadium.
for the Gilmer Buckeyes. You're talking about a guy who had been preparing his whole life for that moment, you know, and to me, that's just an incredible picture of what it's about. And so today, we have opportunities to choose self or selfless. And every day, we're either moving towards being prepared for that moment in our life, or we're depositing in the wrong way, you know, selfish, and puts other people in harm's way. Obviously, this is in battle, and we're talking about life experiences. It can all be a different scenario, but just an incredible picture of what we're trying to teach with our team in his life and
what an honor it is for our town. You know,
amazing.
A real live war hero. I mean, you talk about all the heroes. You know, this guy's this is pretty big.
Well, I was sharing this with a friend of mine who's lives in Longview, and he was in the Navy. He said, I knew about Billy Matchin my whole career in the Navy. We all heard about him. He said, I had no idea he was from Gilmer all that time. He grew up in Longview. So anyway, that Billy Matchin is known for his heroism all over. And it's just amazing that maybe some of us are catching up to it.
It's really cool. It's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Friday night.
You bet.
We beat the Vandals. First half, completely dominated by Gilmer, obviously. Third quarter, not so much. We only got off 5 offensive plays. Obviously, we had the only punt in the whole game, third quarter, and then they got an onside kick, and they were able to keep the ball the entire third quarter.
Right.
And so that kind of flipped the momentum a little bit, but Buckeyes were able to hang on to the victory. So what all did you see there? I mean, as we move forward into your toughest matchup so far, what did you see you liked, and what do you what might concern you, or whatever?
You bet. Well, I'll go back and kind of go through. You set me up to hit on several things. So first of all, I felt like in the Pittsburgh game, I'll talk offensively first. I felt like we were very efficient. As we came into this game, the first half, we were very efficient. We scored four of our 4 drives we scored.
Yeah, just moved the ball down the field like clockwork. Yeah.
Right, and so you're putting touchdowns, not even
punts,
field goals.
No
right.
punts, nothing.
We're scoring touchdowns. And so the thing I liked, we were playing with a certain rhythm that we liked. We were playing with a confidence. We were being efficient. Guys were each guy was doing their job, those kind of things. So we get into the second half offensively, and we had multiple busts on some plays. They made some adjustments, which a good team will.
Yeah.
You know, they're well coached.
They're a well coached team,
They are.
I think. Yeah.
Coach Moffitt does a super job over there and his guys. So they make some adjustments. We should be able to handle those things. On a play or two, we would miss something, which would then stop the drive. So we get a punt. Well, then they go down, they score, they kick it onside, ricochets off one of our guys' legs, they get the ball, they end up keeping it the whole quarter. So it's hard, that kind of gets you into a strain at that point because you hadn't even been out there but a few plays. So then, you tend to press and so forth. That kind of happened in the second half, and I didn't really feel like we came out of that funk, offensively.
Yeah.
Trill had a big run, which we'll look at, which got us down. We were able to kick a field goal. But we didn't really get back to that rhythm that we had earlier, and that's something we've got to improve on. So there was good, there was some not so good. Defensively, I thought that we did a great job creating some turnovers. We won the turnover battle 2-0, which is a big reason why you end up winning a game against a really good team. We had a pick.
The University of Texas found that out last night too.
That was a tough night.
Yeah.
Tough night. So Brendan Webb makes the pick. Then you have Tyler Hagler's awesome play. We'll look at both of those here in a minute, which we scored on after both of those turnovers.
Yeah.
So huge that we're creating turnovers. We need to continue to do that. We've got to play a little bit better pad level at times. I thought they were able to move the ball on the ground at time, at some junctures that we'll be working on to be able to clean up moving forward.
Yeah. I think from our point of view, we don't see things the way a coach sees them, but I felt like the offense ever since, I think they really started gelling at Brenham. And then, of course, Pittsburgh looked really good, but, up against some really good competition the other night, that
looked good.
There's some rhythm there, and Brady, McCown.
He's really taking on.
He is. He's really putting some touch on the ball. I think he's starting to figure out everybody. It takes time.
It does.
When you grow up and you running these routes since 7th grade, it makes a difference from coming in as a senior,
no doubt,
trying to figure this out, right? Exactly. So I think he's doing really well.
He is. I'm really pleased with his progression.
If I gave the MVP or the game ball Friday night from our seat, it would have had to go probably to the offensive line in that first half of play, opening up all those holes.
They did a super job.
I mean,
they were very physical.
A lot of running lanes.
Right.
We'd look at. So
absolutely.
Well, let's look at some plays from that game. We got 9 plays. The first one is a score by Zayd Taylor.
All right. So here we are down in the red zone. We've moved the ball down on our first drive. We bring Brendan Webb over in motion. We did some motion against them because of the way they moved and set their people and so forth to hopefully get some advantage number-wise. And we're going to toss the ball to Zayd right here. You'll see Brendan seal the safety, and then G Noble out there on the edge taking care of the corner. And then Zayd does a great job navigating, running tough, and gets into the end zone for the first touchdown. So super job being able to finish the drive, not get down there and just kick a field goal, but get into the end zone and get that touchdown. So super job of setting a tone right there, I thought.
Well, I love that quick pitch. For a lot of years we got away from any type of sweep pitches. It seems like everything was a handoff, even if it was going to be a sweeper, it was a jet sweep or whatever. And I love the extra couple of steps that you get when you got a speedster.
Somebody.
If you got somebody that can pitch the ball, you get an extra 2 or 3 steps on them. And I think it makes a big difference getting to the outside.
I do too.
Especially when you got speed like this guy that can get out there on the edge. This next one is Butler. Trill takes the ball and runs 60 yards. What a beautiful run here.
It really was. I think it was the red zone play of the night. I
was it really?
To see that when I got home. Yeah. They played it over and over several times. So watch how they walk up on the line. So, I mean, they've got, you can count
committed.
them. They are coming. So when a team does that, you've just got to get a hat on a hat. Because if you can do that, there's going to be a crease. And if you can get past the initial line of scrimmage, there is no one.
He hit the right hole.
He does a great job. You can see our line does a great job. They make a call when they all walk up. They block back. Those are the arrows I have there. Then you're going to see on the front side we come down to the defensive tackle and also to the linebacker who has walked up. And then Grayson Bates, number 2, he's going to kick out. Now, we get a 2-for-1 because 2 guys came upfield. And so he ends up getting both those guys, and there's the crease. And so now Trill hits it, and it's over.
Once he gets right there, you're already calling touchdown, because nobody's going to catch him.
No.
What Trill runs like a 10-6 or
right in that area.
So
he can go.
You're not going to catch him at that point.
It's very few people have a chance to run at his level.
It was a nice run.
Yes.
This next one is a pick by Brendan Webb.
Yep. So I'm going to go to the wide angle here. So Brendan's playing safety. There he is. He's matched up over one of their better receivers who tries to cut inside on him, and he's right there for the pick and the return. One of the keys to that was, I'm going to go back to the tight angle where you can see the defensive line getting the pressure on the quarterback, which makes the throw a little bit high. So watch our guys get a good push. Even though they don't get the sack, they create the pressure. See right there where they're coming up around him, which elevates the throw.
Well, and
Brendan makes
not only does it elevate the throw, but the fact that it kills his vision.
Oh, absolutely.
When you step back, when you're surrounded, even though that kid's pretty tall,
he's 6 foot.
He's 6 foot. When you've got those 6'2", 6'3" linemen that are this wide, and you got our guys coming at them,
and it's pushing into your personal space.
If you're back, 8 feet. You have
throwing lanes.
You can see over. But when they get right here, all of a sudden you can't see. You're just hoping for the best, and that's what they did there.
That's it.
It's pretty amazing.
Super job.
Nice penetration by the defensive line.
It was.
Now this next one this would have been my red zone play of the week.
There you go,
right
Tyler
here.
Hagler.
Tyler Hagler.
I would not argue. I think it's just amazing. Tyler, he just amazes us week in and week out to be that big and to be this athletic. He really is like a skill guy in a big man's body.
Yeah.
And so you're going to see him here push the pocket. He's just driving the guy, blocks the pass,
catches
makes the catch,
pass,
and take off. Look at him running there. We're fussing at him. We're going to send him through the blaster with the running backs do to work on his ball security. I'm going to show you from behind because you can see how he goes after this thing like a receiver. So watch him make the push here. Here's the block, and then watch him find it, track it, get it, and take off. Man, that was awesome.
The only thing would have been better if he'd have taken that all the way.
I'm with you. Other than he might not could have played the rest of the game. Yeah. He might have been so exhausted. But
and what a nice young man, too.
He's amazing.
Good kid.
He's a great guy.
This next one is Caden Tennyson hits Trace Haynes.
Cousin. That's right.
Cousins.
I'm sure Brandon and Ashton and Kate
have done this Trace, in the front yard.
My gosh, they've put in some time together doing these type games all
since
over.
They were
little,
that tall. Yeah.
Yeah, back when Charles was coaching them in the mini bucks. So Trace is on a go route. Caden does a great job on his rhythm of getting the ball out. The ball is a little bit inside, but he gives him a chance. That's what we're always saying. Give him a chance. So Trace does a great job of recognizing that the ball is a little bit short and a little bit inside.
Stopping and coming back around the defender.
Came back around. The defender's in such a bad position from a standpoint of he can't look. He's got to watch the receiver.
Yeah.
And so the offensive guy has a tremendous advantage there. Like I said, if you just give him a chance, which Caden did. And so here we go. And they would have, they threw a flag for pass interference. Well, that would have been 15 yards. I'd rather have it at the 1.
Yeah, no kidding.
And that's where we got it.
And Trace, he's really coming on. This guy.
He is. You're seeing
It reminds
me
of like when remember when Brendan Webb all of a sudden just popped out of
against
nowhere at Kilgore.
Yeah.
And this is kind of what he's starting to do.
Yeah.
And the guy's an athlete.
He's a tremendous athlete.
Athlete.
He's long. He's 6'2". His arms, hang down to here.
He can jump.
He can run. He can jump. He really is.
And he showed aggressiveness right there on that play.
You're seeing him at corner as well. He's playing over there too.
Yeah,
so
he's a dude for sure.
He's going to be a factor.
This next one was Taj Manson, pick off 2-point attempt here.
Yep. So Van goes down. They score. They go for 2 to try and change the point differential thing. And so here they've got a rollout pass. Taj reads it and picks it off. Let me go to the wide where we can see it better. So Taj is out here over the number 2 receiver. You'll see him come up. And then realizes, okay, there's my guy. He retraces, gets in between that guy and the quarterback, makes the pick, stops it, which really helps us when it comes to, what you're going to do, going for 1, going for 2, those kind of things. So.
And I tell you, the secondary, you and I talked about this before the cameras were rolling, well, our secondary stuck to these guys like glue.
They did.
I mean,
yeah,
they're playing man-to-man extremely well.
They've got some good receivers. Number 8.
Number 8's about 6'6".
He is tall and can run.
Yeah.
And then number 3 was really talented as well, as great hands. And their quarterback, number 10, Coach Moffitt's son, he's a baller.
Both Moffitt boys.
10 and 7.
They were fun to watch, actually. As a fan, they were fun to watch.
I agree. They're scrappy. They're coaches' kids. You can see it in the way they play. So
yeah, I thought that was pretty good. Mm-hmm. So this next one is Trill breaking a 41-yard run.
So we talked about how we were kind of in that funk, and trying to get something going. And the line does a great job here creating some run lanes. And then Trill just gets out on the edge, does a great job. So again, we bring Brendan over to help us on our blocking on that edge. It's a planned cutback. This particular one is. So he's going to take the ball here and then cut it back to the opposite side. Brendan's going to come down and pin the safety right there. You see him, and then there goes Trill. Outside receiver comes in, seals the corner, and now he's off to the races. They've got a little bit of an angle on him. They're able to
I thought he
get him
might
out.
have.
It was close.
It was close.
It was close.
I was trying to calculate in my brain, is he got the right angle on Trill or not?
Yeah. They got just enough
if
on
he
him.
was a 10-4 instead of a 10-6.
There you go.
That would have been the
They wouldn't have
difference.
got him. There you go.
Wouldn't have got him. And then this next one is Braden Pate making a pretty long field goal here. I think it was 35 or something like that.
I'm going to say 15, 25, 32. 32-yard field goal. And with a little bit of pressure, we let one guy kind of get up into us a little bit. But he does a great job of keeping his head down. Our snap, our hold was perfect. Caden got it on the tee, and Braden hits it, puts us up 8 points. So now they have to score and get a 2-point conversion in order to tie if that were the case.
That was a good call. We were on air, and Todd said, "Oh yeah, that's what I would do. I would kick." And I said, "Not me. I'd try to get the first down." And then he kicked it, and I was like, "Yeah, that was the right call."
There you go.
That's why they know. And that's why nobody listens to me. That's why I'm not a coach.
That's good. There's times you need to go, and it's all depends on where you are in the game and what you feel like your team's doing,
and whether you coaches like it or not. Everybody that buys a ticket, we get to be armchair quarterbacks.
There you go.
That's what Friday night's about. It's part of the deal.
I embrace it.
You have lots of advisors.
No doubt.
Don't you wish there was some way that we could, like if we all had little handheld computers.
Could shoot it to me right before I make the decision.
Yeah, and then it aggregates all the data to help you call the plays. Wouldn't that be fantastic?
That'd be awesome.
And then you could blame it on the town.
That's it.
Instead of you.
We'd probably have a lot more delay of game calls, I'd say that. Yeah, no doubt.
So this last one we're going to look at is Jet Bates. That is something. We could patent that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be good?
Yeah.
It comes up on the board.
There
Jet Bates, and who I thought had a great game, by the way.
He did.
Him and Guillen. Is it Guillen?
Yes.
Get 5.
Alex Guillen.
Him and Guillen.
They are just dudes.
They sometimes get overlooked because you got Trey.
Right.
You got Hagler. You got these big guys up in the front, and you're going, wow, he's a big man. Them two guys on the edges,
so good.
Those boys are ballers.
They are, and
Jet played a great game.
He did. He had multiple times he messed up their plan in the backfield.
Guy's a player.
Yeah, and you see him here. This is their attempt at the last drive to come down, and of course we did some good stuff. They had several incompletions, but here you go. He's going to beat the tackle with a pass rush move. So watch him just dip his shoulder, rip by the tackle, and then get a big sack on the quarterback, which, now they're way behind the chains. It's going to be hard to even get a first down. So watch him dip and then just put it on him right there and get him down. And now, they're like 3rd and 14 or 4th and 14, whatever it was at that point.
Critical
put them in a bind.
Yeah, it did. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I thought defense played again. Another great game. They've been strong since game 1, in my opinion, and played a good game the other night. So now we go on to PG this next week. Of course, PG came here last year and put a whooping on us pretty bad. I know you've got some harsh feelings about that, I'm sure. You've probably forgiven them by now, knowing you, but the rest of us have not. We don't have that same level of grace. So we're going to PG, and they got another good team. So talk to us about what we're going to see.
They're, got a lot of size again. Landon Jackson's brother, Lance, is there, number 5. And, he had a big game last year against us. And he's playing extremely well again this year. So he'll be a big factor offensively and defensively. He plays fullback, tight end. He's really good in their passing game. He blocks well for them. They've got a new quarterback this year, scrappy, plays hard. Some quick guys in the backfield. They, no surprise, they always have big kids. Their center's a huge guy. So, they have another ranked team up in the top 5 area again, and rightly so. They're one of those teams that, regardless what happens this week, they're going to be a team that's going to push deep into the playoffs. It's just
normal
it's who
PG.
They are. Right,
yeah.
Right. It's the same old.
Are they undefeated or have they lost again?
They've lost 2, like we have, but they lost to Kilgore in double overtime, and they lost to Paris early in the year.
Okay.
Early in the year. But they've done very well since then.
2 big teams.
2 really
Division
big
1.
teams. Yeah. So great atmosphere this Friday night, and a big challenge, and we'll look forward to going and having a playoff type game, which is why it's good to play those kind early.
Oh, this will be a state championship level game, in my opinion.
I agree.
This will be like us playing Carthage or close to it. So we need you guys to travel this week. We really need a lot of fans out at PG, so it's not that far. It's going to take you just a little over an hour, and they got a great concession stand, so we need everybody to travel. Bring your noisemakers, scream loud. If you can't make it, we'll bring the game to you right in your living room, but we'd rather see you in the stadium yelling for the Buckeyes, always, right?
You bet.
So thanks, Coach. Congratulations on another win. This one's for the district championship, I'll just say that. This is for the district championship, so good luck to you.
Thank you.
And hopefully the Buckeyes will come out on top. We'll see you guys Friday night in Pleasant Grove.